We are learning the Sicha of Chukas Beis, and it's quite a fascinating history context to the Sicha, because this Sicha was said before the Rebbe officially accepted the Messias. There's not that many Sichos in the Likkutei Sichos that can be said. That's when they were said. It was said in Chaf Dalet Tevis, Tafshin Yud Aleph, about 2 weeks before Yud Shvat. Remember, Chaf Dalet Tevis is the yard site of the Alter Rebbe, and it's customary to do the Siyam HaShas, and that's where the introduction of the Rebbe starts. And the Sicha is a Siyam HaShas, because Maseches Nida is the final Masechta in Shas. And the Rebbe starts off talking about what the Siyam HaSeches is, and the connection between Mitzvahs Kislev and Chav Dalet Tevis, etc. And then they arrange the Chalukas HaShas. And the Rebbe said that by Chalukas HaShas, you have to make an effort not only that all the Masechtas get covered, but that all the people do a Masechta. That everybody's part of Chalukas HaShas. And the Rebbe at that time took Maseches Sukkah and Sanhedrin. He said, Maseches Sukkah, I'm taking on for the Frierdiker Rebbe, the Rebbe the Shver, and Maseches Sanhedrin, I'm taking for myself. Now the Rebbe says, Negea to the Hadron and the Chasiyim Chalukas HaShas. We're standing now in the middle of the year, or towards the end of the year of the Stalkus, the yards, and close to the yard site. So now we're going to sit not exactly on Siyam HaShas, Mamish, because it's not at the end, it's not the last daf, but rather something that's shaykh to Stalkus, that is in one of the last sugyas of Maseches Nida, and that is the Gemara that we learned, Shnei Maser Dvarim, 12 things, Anshe Alexandria, Ashraf Shul, and Hanania, 3 Divrei Chachma, 3 Divrei Agada, 3 Divrei Buddhas, and 3 Divrei Derech Eretz. And then we went in, as we learned in the Sikha, the 3 Divrei Buddhas. Now the Rebbe says, the reason I want to say a hadron is something that's connected to Istalkus, even though there's no connection between the Sim Chalukas Shas to the Istalkus, is because the Istalkus of a Rebbe permeates the Metzias of a Chassid, all the 248 limbs, and therefore that's to express itself in every area. The Rebbe then said that the Frierdiker Rebbe one time said that his father, the Rebbe Rashab, explained the pasuk Ekev Asher Shama Avdam B'Koili in Parshas Toldus. And he says the Gadlusay of Avram Avinu, the greatness of Avram Avinu was recognizable not only in his Mayach and Lev, but also in his hands and his legs, Klei HaMaaseh, till the Ekev Shabadegel, till the heel. Now, even in the Ekev Shabadegel, you could see that it was the Ekev of Avram. So Ekev doesn't only mean the cause, but also means the Ekev, literally the heel. And that's what Rambam says, that just like a Chacham is recognizable by his Chachma and his Deis, so too it has to be in his way he eats, the way he drinks, etc., the way he walks. And so too, said the Rebbe Rashab, that Megea Chassid, that a Chassid has to be recognizable even in the Chassidische Piata, Chassidische heel. So too, if the Istalkus is only felt in the Lev or in the Mayach, but not in Payol, then it shows that the Istalkus wasn't permeated Chol HaMachevadim, and you don't have the stamp of Istalkus. It has to affect you in the entire Metzias, and therefore it has to be recognizable in all the Inyan. Then the Rebbe said the Hadron that we learned together, that we learned in Chelik Yud Ches. And the Rebbe said like this: even though there's a difference between Halacha and Agada, that Yerushalmi says Ein Lemeidin Min Agadis, the Rebbe uses this as an introduction. You don't learn from Agadis, but that is only when the limud of the Agadis contradicts something that says in Halacha. But if it's not a contradiction, then you could learn the Soimchim Aleim, and you rely. And the Rebbe brings the source from Encyclopedia Talmud. And not only that, but even in a place where there's a stira, so Yitaka don't learn from the Agada, from the stories, Halacha L'maisa, but a Svara, logic, you can learn. Even when there's a stira for Chelik Halacha, V'daya L'davar, that we learn. How do you know there's a proof? Because we'll learn a Svara even from a Das Yachid, from a singular opinion in Torah, even when there's many people that go against him, and Halacha Karabim. Nevertheless, you go to learn, how much more so, you could learn a Svara from Agadas, which is in a full section of Torah, not just a Das Yachid. So therefore, we could learn Svara, and we could even learn more than Svara if there's no stira in Halacha. So that was what the Rebbe said as an introduction to the whole Sikha, to the whole discussion. And then the Rebbe finished off and said like this. That which we discussed, that Negea b'meis tamei ve'ein meis atzmei tamei, that's said regarding all Yisrael, is especially by Tzaddik and Nasi Yisrael, she'einem etam. Like the Chaim Kayin, one of the Tosfos, Bali Tosfos says, that ilmali ha'yisi k'sheniftar Rabbeinu Tam ha'yisi mitamale. Rabbi Chaim Kayin, who was obviously a Kayin, says that if I was there when Rabbeinu Tam, who's one of the Bali Tosfos, had passed away, was nostalgic, I would have been mitami to him. He wasn't a physical relative. Because ein nasi mitam. Befrat ben nasi shakol mitam loy. The community Yisrael, they even paying him good to keep it tzaddikim because tzaddikim ein on mitam. So that's the way that Rebbe finished off, and it's quite fascinating that this Farbrengen is one of the last Farbrengens before the Rebbe accepted the Siyas. There was another Farbrengen on Shabbos Parshas Va'eda, so Shabbos Mevarchim Shvat, and then the next Farbrengen is Yud Shvat. It's Hashem, we should see L'chsheyave Moshe Rabbeinu Imahim to bring us all the Dor HaMidbar. We know that we, the Dor HaAchlin of Galus, the Rebbe often quoted from the Arizal that this last generation of Galus is the generation is a Gilgul of the Neshama, the generation of the Midbar. So we're going to have the same thing. L'chsheyave Moshe Rabbeinu Imahim, our Moshe Rabbeinu is Paschus, and the Moshe Chaldor V'Dor is going to come with us and take us out of Galus. Malkeinu B'Leishenu, take it from me, Ad Mamish.